With the Biden tell-alls coming out, Democrats are trying to scrub the blood off their hands. Politico says the tell-alls are devastating and calls the former president an ailing geriatric leader surrounded by mendacious aides. The New York Times admits Biden was enfeebled. The Washington Post says Biden was an elderly, egotistical president shielded from reality by a slavish coterie of loyalists. The media is starting to confess that the cover-up they called a conspiracy was actually a cover-up. Quote, no serious journalistic outlet is pushing back. Now it's the prevailing narrative. What they're doing now is pointing fingers and asking each other, what did you know? And when did you know it? Over something everybody else already knew.
The news is selling you a book about news they should have told you was news a year ago for free. It's just fun to watch them not only continue to push the book in light of this difficult news, but to actually frame this difficult news as perhaps even more of a reason to buy this book. I understand the excitement over an insidious Democratic cover-up about Joe Biden's mental decline. The thing is, though, it was a terrible cover-up because we all knew.
News anchors are profiting from not reporting the news. Is this the new business model? Just a never-ending cycle of cover-ups and tell-alls, lies and confessions? Because that can't last. You can't punk your audience and keep it. Even The View is like, what is Jake Tapper, an author or an anchor?
All he's doing is hawking his book on the CNN, and he's flanked by other people, Ryan Stelter and Van Jones, also hawking his book. When did CNN become a place to hawk your book? Is Wolf Blitzer coming out with a cookbook?
Blitzer's buttermilk pancakes. Delicious. Democrats say Tapper's 100% complicit.
I'm looking forward to reading it because I want to see if people like Jake Tapper, hold themselves and their networks like CNN accountable for how much they didn't report on, because they're all complicit in not calling a thing in regards to President Biden.
Tapper's taking on water, and he's trying to survive. He just hired a crisis PR expert to cover up his cover-up. Jake's new talking point is this: being wrong isn't a crime.
Alex and I are here to say that conservative media was right and conservative media was correct, and that there should be a lot of soul searching, not just among me, but among the legacy media. Conservative media absolutely has every right to say, we were hip to this, and the legacy media was not. Now, I do not accept that I was part of a cover-up. I do not accept that I was just providing cover for Joe Biden.
Jake searched his soul and found out he wasn't a part of the cover-up. No one believes that. But if the media is admitting they were wrong about Biden, when are they going to admit they were wrong about Trump? Are we ever going to get, maybe he's not a racist dictator. Maybe he just wanted to put America first. This book tour has everything. I told you so's and apologies.
Knowing what I know now, obviously, I feel tremendous humility about my coverage. That Laura Trump interview, for example, she saw something that I did not see at the time, 100%. And I own that. After we did the research for this book, and I realized how bad his acuity issues were, I called Laura Trump and I said, you were right.
Jake didn't see what else everybody saw. 72% of the country said Biden wasn't fit for office and shouldn't serve another term. That was a CNN poll. Jake thought Biden shaking hands with ghosts was just Joe being Joe.
The comments of Joe Biden making gaffes, saying things stupid, tripping, are all important and all deserved to be aired and all deserve scrutiny. But as you know, Megan, because even though you look 30 years younger than me, we're roughly the same age, Joe Biden has been saying stupid things for decades. Okay?
I get what you're saying, but this minimizes it too, because it was more than saying stupid things. But I'm telling you, like over here in my ecosphere, we were covering all of these. Now, with the current White House, I have some connections. With the Joe Biden White House, I had none. But you did. You did. And so while you've been in Washington 30 years, Jake, you guys, you and CNN have White House connections, but there was no effort, none, to get to the bottom of this.
The media held back scoops, waited until Biden got cooed, and then cashed in on book deals. But before the coup, they told you Biden was at the top of his game.
Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever.
Now Scarborough's a Biden denier.
Looking back at that, do you say, well, it was misleading to say best Biden ever without caveating it and say, except on the days when he's not the best Biden ever?
Well, but I never saw those days personally.
Well, you did, because you saw him address a dead congresswoman, and you saw him in South Carolina. There were plenty of days in public when he was not the best Biden ever, and of course, shortly after,
he stumbled and bumbled around. Mark, I mean, yeah, he certainly did. Donald Trump did. Other politicians did. Those are some of the clips bad? Yeah, they certainly are bad. Put in the proper context. I'm just not going to freak out and melt down on one or two clips here or there.
So when you go on live TV and you tell America something that's the truth, say, this is true, you better be damn sure that's the truth. It cost Morning Joe their audience. No one watches them anymore. The audience got doged. Tapper says Biden was quarantined from his whole cabinet.
There's a cabinet meeting in October 2023, and then several cabinet members told us for the book they never saw him again in person for months and months and months. He was kept away from them, and cabinet secretaries we spoke to for the book told us it was weird. One of them did have a meeting with Biden in between that last cabinet meeting of 2023 in October and the debate, and described him as being disoriented and out of it. And I think the degree to which he was being hidden from even their own administration cannot be overstated.
Remember the Biden White House was using AutoPen? Trump wants that investigated too.
We're going to start looking into this whole thing with who signed this legislation. Who signed legislation opening our border? I don't think he knew. I said there's nobody that can want an open border. Nobody. And now I find out that it wasn't him. He auto-penned it. Who was operating the auto-pen? This is a very serious thing. We had a president that didn't sign anything.
Biden was a ghost in his own White House. Republican Congressman Tim Burchett from Tennessee says those thousands of pardons that Biden signed, those were auto-penned. And White House aides may have gotten rich.
You're going to find staffers that were able to take forms, get them, and run them through some sort of bogus legal system, and then they auto-penned them. And there's probably people out on the street that shouldn't be, but somebody got rich off that. And wow. And I think those people, I hate to say it, but you'll see something probably horrible happen to some of those people because it goes up the chain. This is a very dangerous town to play games in.
And White House aides were getting rich too. Mike Donnellan, one of the guys in Biden's tight little inner circle, he got paid $4 million to advise the campaign. What campaign? Staffers called it outrageous when they found out. The Kamala campaign, they were also getting fleeced for millions. Oprah, Bruce, Beyonce. So who knows what was going on? The only reason we even know about any of this is because Biden bombed the debate. And then after the debate, everybody started admitting it. One campaign advisor recounted a post-debate discussion with Biden aboard Air Force One. What are we doing here? The advisor thought as the president spoke. This guy can't even form an effing sentence. Democrats went out and lied to you and said Biden just had the sniffles and attacked you for telling the truth. Stephen A. says Democrats deserve a spanking.
What did the Democratic Party do when people brought up Joe Biden and his debilitation? They didn't just deny it. They attacked and attempted to ostracize those who would dare question it. And come to find out, as the days and the weeks and the months go by, how so many knew all along. And not only did they not admit it, they condemned those who said so. That's how I'm comparing them to Lance Armstrong. Think about it.
Now Democrats don't want to talk about it. Don Lemon, another Biden denier, says let's move on.
I am so sick of all of this Joe Biden consternation. What Joe Biden did or didn't do, what reporters did or didn't do. The country has moved on. Joe Biden has moved on. And why are we talking about an old man who has cancer, prostate cancer? Why are you kicking someone when they are down? If they believe that Joe Biden was selfish, if they believe Joe Biden should have dropped out, perhaps he should have. But that is not the question right now. That is in the rearview mirror. What are you doing? And they should stop hiring all these frickin' Trump sycophant MAGA people and promoting them just to say outrageous, outlandish lies and
CBS, they're trying to cover up the cover-up. They say Biden was too old to test for cancer.
He's 82. Normally, doctors will stop screening for prostate cancer at 75 or so because after that, the prostate cancers you typically pick up are very slow growing. And so the harms of all of the testing and treatment for something that may not kill you, you're talking about risk versus benefit. It may not be worth the risk.
CBS, I think, just said Biden's life wasn't worth saving because he was already pretty old. Do you think Biden agrees? He's only the president. The former White House doctor, Ronnie Jackson, says something's not adding up.
Go back and look at the medical records. President Bush, when he was in office, got a PSA done and as part of his physical exam. So did President Obama. So did President Trump. There is no reason why President Biden wasn't receiving PSAs and prostate screening exams during his time in office. Or if he was, it wasn't reflected in the medical record, which means that Dr. O'Connor was lying to the American people again.
Biden's people are now they're telling us his last known prostate test was in 2014. That's over 10 years ago. Do you even believe that? I don't know. In 2008, Joe Biden was diagnosed with an enlarged prostate, and he was taking Flomax for it. He even had a polyp removed from his colon. Why didn't Dr. O'Connor test him for cancer? According to Tapper's book, the Bidens have a history of covering up cancer. When Beau was diagnosed with stage 4 brain cancer, the Bidens decided to say nothing for months. And Beau's doctor said he had a clean bill of health, even though he died 15 months later. Biden's had a history of bruises on his hands. Some are wondering if he was getting drug cocktails injected there. That's often where they put IVs. Biden, before he dropped out, said the only thing that could force him out of the race was a medical condition. Listen.
Is there anything that you would look to, you personally, not anybody else, not other pundits, not even perhaps family members, that you would look to say, if I see that, I will reevaluate?
If there has some medical condition that emerged, if the doctors came to me and said, you got this problem, that problem.
6 days later, he dropped out. So, what happened on that fateful weekend in Delaware? That's the question we need answers to. Like we told you last week, the Biden blast radius keeps expanding, and it's only going to get worse. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.